The question is now, when do I make my official entrance? I'm here. Just gonna let this go for a while. I got some new scenics. Just trying to up the production value a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Some new beats. Let the bass drop. Oh, look at that. The Port of Oakland. I like what I'm looking at. Not even intentional, I swear. I didn't do that on purpose. Ooh, Lake Tahoe. So beautiful. I'm glad to see the smoke is cleared out of that area. Just makes me happy. Obviously, I know we're not out of fire season yet, but glad that turned out a lot better than I was expecting. Oh, it's Carl the Fog. I don't know if we're flying over San Francisco or maybe a part of Oakland here. Not really sure what that is. I'll start the live stream soon, I promise. I got lots to do here. I just kind of want to look at some of these new shots. This is great stuff. Good music to go along with it. Ooh. Feel like I might hit the club. All right, this is a pretty long shot. That's a lot of clouds. There we go. Oh, ooh. The time lapse of Half Dome. Man, that is just. You know what? I'm feeling like a Yosemite trip right now. That's always been the spot, by the way. Is that the Bay Bridge? Is that the San Mateo Bridge? Is that the Dumbarton Bridge? I feel like I'm at a college football game. Got the drum line rolling. That is a beautiful shot. Ooh, the bass just dropped. All right, what do you say? What do you say we actually... Oh, there it is again. Is that Howard Terminal? I mean, this is an old shot, so... It could be. I've been there. It kind of looks like it. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. All right, enough of that. Great intro. That's very fancy, by the way. That's the fanciest start I've ever had to a live stream. I'll let it live for a few minutes. How's everybody doing? Oh, I know what else I was going to do. I was going to show you this. This is actually a live camera from Hawaii. It's the island of Maui. Unfortunately, when I set all this up before the broadcast, the sun was just setting, all the colors were in it. And then, you know how the camera switches into night mode so it can see better? Yeah, it's seeing better, which is great, but it's black and white now. Kinda lost the touch. Kinda lost the reason of why I was trying to put this on here. But yeah, this is a live shot. You could see that. Look, can I use my mouse? Oh yeah, I can. There's a guy walking down there. Trying to get splashed, probably. So, there you go. Welcome to the live stream for a Monday night. That's right, Monday Night Football. I saw that. The Raiders tortured people, but hung on to win. This is not a drill. I just saw that shirt in the camera. Realized I should probably say something about it. Okay. Let me set up the, get rid of the camera, set up the live chat here. Let's get rolling. See what people want to talk about. Beginning with be kind. I will be kind. It's your bedtime, so you got to peel out early. Yeah, you know what? It's probably my bedtime too. I didn't even realize I'm starting this at 10:15. What am I doing? So I may only spend like 30 minutes here. I was gonna play some Mario in a second if I could set that up. All right, the music it's actually distracting me at this point. It's kind of weird. Like to have that continuously going in the background, it's it's starting to get to me. Oh, Derek, let's go Oakland. Now, are you talking about the Oakland Raiders? Former Oakland Raiders who won tonight, or are you talking about the A's who desperately need your support right now? My goodness. I don't really I'm going to pull it up here. Hang with me. Yeah, there it is. So, you got the standings right now where Toronto leapfrogged everybody. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've won another 4 in a row. Boston is on now another losing pace. They lost today. So they're 5 wins in their last 10. The Yankees, they finally got a win, but still 2. They beat the who did they beat? Was it the Royals? Did they just play Kansas City? Anyway, so 2 wins in their last 10 games. So they're the ones that have slid right out of that top spot. So here we are back again at 3 games for the A's. You know, when they started to get into that 1-game separation, that was the conversation right there. And then this past weekend happened. And it's kind of crazy about this past weekend. Losing 2 of 3 to the Texas Rangers, it felt equally bad as getting swept by the Toronto Blue Jays. Because at least with the Jays, you can understand they were scorching hot. They're also a really good team, 81-63. They're not the Texas Rangers who just beat you 2 out of 3 tries. Yikes. And that means the A's went 10-9 against Texas this year. You can really chalk up the A's, 77-66 record. You can chalk that up and the reason why they're not going to get to 97 wins again, largely to the fact that they have not played well against the AL West this year. I mean, Houston's Houston. Totally get that. But I want to say they're 4-7 or 4-8 against Seattle. That has not been good. Just documented how they do against Texas. And against the Angels, they have a pretty good record. They have just these 3 games left later on in the road trip against the Halos. But really, the Angels are the only team that the A's have done damage against in the AL West. And look, when it's all complete, and if the A's are in something by the narrowest of margins or they're out of something by the narrowest of margins, you're really going to think about how the A's did and did not do against these Western Division teams. And I'm telling you, the Texas Rangers, they put a dent in the Oakland A season. No matter how you want to slice it, no matter what it comes down to in the final couple series, all against Seattle. The final 13 games are all against Seattle and Houston. But when I look back on this regular season, I will not be able to forget the Texas Rangers. And they were just so annoying head-to-head in games with the A's. Handful of times, the A's had them on the ropes, up by 4, 5, 6 runs in the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. And Texas just didn't quit. And the A's bullpen just did not have answers this season for the struggling Texas Rangers. So that's that. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there. I did not intend to do that, but probably needed to be said because I'm sure a lot of people want to talk about it. Whoa, there goes the old Mario controller. I'll get that in a second. Bamboo, always appreciate you being here. Murph, no, the A's are not terrible. The A's have gone through a lot of gut punches this year. There is no doubt about that. And I recently, I think as recent as last week, I came up with a list of 10 things, 10 sequences, 10 series, 10 events that they've gone through that have really just felt like, whoa, that's a lot to take. And honestly, this past weekend, if I was continuing on that list, it would be number 11. As an aviation guy, what are your thoughts on all of these space flights this summer? Well, to be honest, be kind, space is a little bit higher than the airspace that I typically occupy, like several miles above where I'm at. Look, I think it's interesting. I think it's great. I understand there is the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos competition kind of like a flex of, Amazon versus Tesla and all of that I could do without, But I will say I'm happy that, the exploration of space, getting more people out there, understanding it better, the kind of return to space that we're seeing and the excitement surrounding it is great. I do feel like in my childhood, it was all about, NASA was huge and there was a lot to learn. And unfortunately, I think I was going out the door that morning to kindergarten when the Challenger exploded. That was terrible. And it did feel like maybe after that, our space initiatives, our space curiosity, our interest of returning to space over and over, I'm not saying it got cut back because then the space station became a thing. And there have been several other missions and explorations, but it just seemed like people were not as into space as much anymore. So if these flights can get more people interested and back into it, I'm all for it. I understand it's terribly expensive, and the less dangerous and the more times we can do it to make it more safe, why not? I'm as curious as anybody to see what we figure out, to see what we learn, and to see how this goes. I mean, it's crazy to think that in our lifetime, I'm 40. I don't know how many years I have left, but likely in my lifetime at this pace, I mean, a regular amount of people might be going to space, even in the next decade or two. Is Ohtani MVP? Well, that's a good question. I mean, just in the talent and the skill set that he provides, you'd have to think that, if he doesn't have the most homers this year, which he probably is going to, if he doesn't have the highest batting average, which, he's not far off there either, he doesn't have to top everybody in one specific thing because he's done it all and done it all so well. And it's kind of crazy. I put out the video today about Ohtani and Trout, maybe their talents being a little wasted in Anaheim, and people were quick to say, yeah, but they've never had Trout and Ohtani healthy for a full season. I totally get that. But if the Halos had Mike Trout this entire year, would they be challenging the A's and the Mariners and the Houston Astros for the West or a playoff spot? Likely not. They just do not have the pitching to compete. And then here's my other question. Do you knock Shohei Ohtani for not being on a playoff team? Is it possible that the MVP of the American League could be on a non-playoff bound team? I mean, the award just says most valuable player. It doesn't say MVP of a playoff team. It's not talking about the other, 20 some odd guys on the active roster. So for me, absolutely. If nothing else, because he's done a little bit of everything. He's done all that you can do, and he's done it extremely well. Is it a shoo-in? Should be, I think. Hey, Jordan, do you use those DBX 286Ss and compressors at all, or are you just using your software? Okay, so Jordan, what you are talking about, just so I can clue everybody else in here, are these rack mount devices here. That's a 286S. This is a 266XS. That's a 286S. This is just an American Audio DB display Mark II, and this is a Sterling Audio SHA-8 headphone amplifier. Okay, now that I've run through everything, let me just tell you, this, and this I'm not actually using right now at all. I know they're lighting up. That's because I do have them obviously powered up, but I do have the signal chain running through them. But then they come to this mixer right here, and they're in these first two channels, and these aren't even turned up right now. So, I mean, even when I pot them up, they're not actively connected. Did I turn them all the way? I gained them down. That's what I did. Okay, so they're plugged in. I don't want to turn them up. But the long story here is that I used to use these. Now, all of this over here, all of this got transitioned into this one little box, the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. So everything is software-based. It's all done in real time, and I have a lot of manipulation I can do with the universal audio. These are good devices, and I keep them here for looks, yeah, but just in case I ever want to change the setup or need to change the setup. But as for right now, everything is software-based. So I do appreciate the audio question there. I know it's not for everybody. Most people are here for sports, but I do some of that stuff on the channel. Yes. So yeah, you do see them lighting up in the background, but that's all they're doing. This stuff is, and this guy right here, the DB display, I know people say, well, it's peaking. You're getting into the red. Well, there's a control here where I can kind of adjust the trim on it. So if I actually look at my, for example here, you could see right there. You can see my actual audio levels going out on the stream right there on the multi-view. So this is in reality what I'm actually looking at. Okay, let's go back to this. Since you mentioned in the title, your favorite old school baseball games were Baseball Stars on Nintendo and Ken Griffey Baseball on the N64. I think the one I liked was Bases Loaded for the SNES, the original Nintendo. Double Dribble, that was another great one. Blades of Steel. I think these were all on the original Nintendo console. But those were my favorites. If this is not a drill, would I say it's hammer time? Yes. Stop. Hammer time. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think my parents might have gave this to me for a Father's Day or something like that. Yeah, I've got into the tool game and the home improvement game, and so I've got a nice quality hammer out in the garage. I'm happy with my hammer. Why did I say that? Honestly, why? I regret that instantly. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what do I think of Drake's IPAs? I love Drake's. I love pretty much every Drake's beer that I've had. Did I say I love Drake too? I don't mean like October's very own. What's his name? Aubrey Graham. Aubrey Graham. Yes, I'm talking about you, Drake. No, I know what you're talking about. The beers from San Leandro. I love Drake's, and I think you can go there, right, and pick up beers, and they have like a formal sitting area to drink. I've never gone there. I've heard people do it. I just get it at the store when I buy some. Kaprielian and the bullpen have pretty much hit a wall. Dave Stewart pointed this out the other day that Cap has never pitched this many innings in any baseball season he's ever played. And that dates back to his time at UCLA, where I think for 2 years straight he threw like 105 or 106 innings. And I think this year he's close to 125. But that's kind of a thing, when he got called up this year, it was because Luzardo was injured. And at that point, you're just trying, it's May, right? You'll figure things out. But he did so well, and he did so well for so long, I'm not sure anybody had the true inclination of like, well, are you just going to stay up here and pitch great the rest of the way? I mean, we'll take it. Obviously, that's fantastic, especially after all the years he missed with respective injuries, and I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the season that he's had. But the last couple outings, including yesterday, yeah, I mean, there's a certain extent of he probably is a bit gassed out. But I got to say this, he was probably gassed out 30 innings ago. And he's still in there grinding. I really like, sorry, I'm going to turn this off. I can see the TV's on and it's making a bunch of reflections. I really like James Kaprielian this season. I think he's been one of the tremendous stories, a guy that was not on the opening day roster in the rotation, pitched his way in, pitched on huge stages at Fenway Park, at Yankee Stadium, against the Astros, I want to say multiple times, and fared quite well. And he's a rookie. Never done this before. And, I know he's got kind of a back history with Chappie. And let me just say this about Chappie. He's a great teammate, but the fact that those two guys are friends, it's more than just the SoCal thing. It's kind of like the endorsement, right? One player to another, and Chappie's been around. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew long ago what Kaprielian was capable of, and now we're all kind of finding it out this season. So look, I'm happy for James. I hope that next year, I mean, really the only step forward that you'd like him to take is just last longer in games, last longer in the season. Because quite honestly, I've really liked the way he's battled this year. And maybe another goal for next year would be to make outings a little bit less lower maintenance on himself. He seems to get in jams and then get out of a lot of them. That's high effort. That's very laborious. He does a great job at it, but these are hard ones for him. Hard outings sometimes for him. Not really a hardworking man. Just hanging out here on the live stream, JC. It's granted. Let me say this. I put a lot more effort into things than anybody ever knows, but that's fine. Like that comes with this. This part right here, this is relatively easy. I can just push a couple buttons. I can manipulate all this stuff and hang out and chat with you guys. That part's not hard. There are some other parts that are hard. Drake's Black Label Triple IPA. Better than Pliny the Younger. Well, I mean, Pliny the Younger is not a triple IPA, right? So I'm with you on that. You don't have to convince me, AC. I favor triple IPAs. Not all the time, because your first sip of a triple IPA usually goes like this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then you take a look at the the ABV on there, and it's like, whatever, 9. Are they 9s and 10s? Is that what a triple IPA is? Because isn't like a double IPA like a 7 or an 8? I may have my numbers confused, but somewhere around there. So I'm not gonna argue with that one. Jordan, back again here. You've been following the mic reviews and stuff, and you love that content. Awesome. Thanks for saying that. And part of it is what I've been trying to do here is get the audio right, not just for making videos. I do make videos once in a while on here, but the biggest thing is when I come on and live stream, I just want it to be able to look good and sound good pretty instantly without a lot of effort. All right, let me do one thing here. Oh no, you know what? No, I shut Hawaii down. I was going to have one more peek at Hawaii and just see how it was doing here later at night. Chris, you haven't been able to watch the A's lately. Mentally preparing for the absolute gut punch this offseason is going to be. Okay. I won't elaborate fully into this because I actually do want to make a separate video about this later. This offseason for the Oakland A's is the most important in franchise history in more than 50 years. And I'm talking about on the field. I am talking about that stuff a little bit, but that's not even the entirety. Getting the stadium situation squared away this offseason, and I certainly hope it's in the 21 calendar year versus early 22, but whenever it is, whenever we find some answers, whenever there is some progress to be made, some things to be understood, this is an offseason where if you're an A's fan, you cannot go to sleep whenever the season ends. Whether it's game 162, whether it's some playoff games, whether it's the World Series, like it matters. The last day that the Oakland A's stop playing baseball, the next day after that is equally important from here on out. This team trying to secure something in Oakland, it's amazing. I think, let me put it to you this way. The point of the video that I wanted to make was this. In 20 years down the road, hypothetically, if they've stayed, I don't know that you'll remember the 2021 season specifically, the record, how it exactly went, all the guys on the team. I mean, we're really talking 20 years down the road. I'll be 60 when that happens. But if the offseason of 2021 to 22, if a stadium is imminent, if something new is imminent, then I think you will remember that. So think about that for a second. Like, we could talk about the team, the roster. There's a lot of arbitration players that are going to command a lot more money this year. It's going to be hard. And let's also discuss this potential labor issues between the league and the Players Association. Yikes. I don't know how that's going to go. There's a lot to it left that remains to be seen and undecided. It's undecided right now. But I will say this, as it relates to the A's, the most important thing this offseason, you could make the argument it's not even baseball. I'll leave that right there for now. Could circle back to that in a different video. Okay, so good morning. Is it APSES? Is that A Paset? No, I can't. Whatever. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. So if it's morning time, you're in Europe. I'm gonna imagine that. I'm gonna estimate that. Smash that like button. Yeah, you know what, Soldier, I appreciate that. While we're here, can I just say, look, you're probably already subscribing to the channel at this point. If you're watching this, if you've hung around for this length of time, you probably are. But if you're not subscribing, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Help me out, help me grow this platform. And you don't even have to thumbs up on the video yet. If you actually like this by the end, give it a thumbs up so other people can see it and check it out. But thank you very much for the reminder. I got to do a little bit more of that. I have found that actually you can grow your channel a little bit if you mention that once in a while. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I said it. It's probably going to end up as a clip somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. I can't take it back. It's the gift and the curse of live broadcasting. Once you said it, it's gone. I'm happy with my hammer. There, I said it again. I'll auto-tune it too if you want. I think, JC, you're talking about those triple IPAs still. Yeah. You can get smashed pretty easy. Yeah. I know, Marty. I regretted that the split second it came out. Okay, I'm going to try the name here. Corbett is the last name. Tonio Corbett. Sorry if I got that wrong. Thoughts on the non-reviewable plays, infield fly not being called, leaning into pitches, etc. You know, and even for us broadcasters, it's almost like, do I have paper here? I'm almost like, all right, let me run down the cheat sheet here. Oh, that's not reviewable. Or let me see, home run, hit the foul pole or not. Oh, okay, that is reviewable. I'm just making that up. I don't even know. It's so confusing. There's so many things in baseball that can happen. You certainly understand that balls and strikes cannot be reviewed, but a bang-bang play at the plate or on a base, yes. How about a ball bouncing fair or foul, like in front of or behind the bag? A player making a catch in the outfield, did it hit the ground first before they caught it? Or going over a fence, did they catch it properly? It's just going into the stands, making a catch. There's so many things to consider. I'm okay with having really some things get reviewed, because if you do everything, I understand that it gets a little monotonous. But I also think that if you can only review a certain amount of things per game, have everything be able to be challenged. Like, basically say balls and strikes are the only thing that cannot be challenged, and you get 2 challenges per game or just 1. I mean, if you're going to change the rules, right? If we're talking about not how it is now, but if you're going to modify this to appease everybody, do you just say, okay, you can challenge anything you want, any official call on the field, you know, ring the phone, call your video guy. Do you want to challenge it? You know, give the umpires this signal, put your headsets on. It's funny, I have headsets on right now. And anything's reviewable. But then again, you have to limit it to, is it maybe once or twice per game? Because then I can't have every single thing be reviewable. If you open up the amount of different circumstances that can be reviewed, then you also definitely have to limit how many times you can use that in a game. I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with the fact that umpires can miss something on the field. And that initial call, it does carry weight, right? Umpire calls somebody safe. You have to have now enough evidence on video to overturn it that New York can see and clearly say, yep, we got it wrong. We're going to take this back. But there have been a lot of times this summer, even specifically just to the Oakland A's. I'm not talking about all the other teams across the country, just the Oakland A's, where we can see something on replay that is pretty clear, pretty decisive. And I'm not even looking at this with a bias. I swear to you, I'm not. And the umpires are bailed out by the replay room in New York. And a lot of times you get the sense, when I say bailed out, they don't overturn the call because it was close, but also because they don't want to umpire feel bad that they went like this and now they have to take the headset off and go, safe. Are they actually factoring in umpire emotions, or are they factoring in umpire feelings into replay review? If that's the case, I mean, if that is a real thing, it seems like that's a real thing. If it is, that's really sad. Why are we doing this? Replay, I'm fine with it. You cannot do it and not get it right. And I also think, well, I should just make a separate video on this. You also have to go out there and say, here is who is running our replay room tonight. Here is the main person in charge of these decisions. And actually, how about this? Like, if I could have a GoPro here in my home studio, let's have this, right? This camera in New York. Let's have them put the, multi-view monitor up there. Let's have the umpire look at that and say, that happened. Okay, show me that angle of it. Show me that angle of it. Show me that angle of it. Ooh, there's the bridge. Show me that. Okay, okay, guys, here's what I've determined. And actually then maybe the umpires at the stadium or that person in the replay room, maybe they could have a mic just like this. And now they come on camera and say, so what I saw was, the runner's foot touched second base, but the second baseman held the tag. The runner lifted his foot off second. The tag was still applied. That runner is out. I know he was initially called safe. That runner's out. Great. Now I've seen a human being watch it, decipher it, and explain it. Excuse me. And there's also been this idea that maybe umpires, now I don't subscribe to this. Maybe the umpires should not be watching the games until they have to rewind the tape and make a controversial call or determine an outcome. And it was said that they shouldn't know the initial call on the field, but that's impossible. Because any camera angle you see of it's going to have an umpire in the background, punching somebody out or calling them safe. So that one is not possible. It's just, you can't do it. The more I think about it, the more I realize you can't have an unbiased opinion because you're going to see what the initial call on the field was. But again, imagine that. An umpire who sees a play, dictates to you exactly what they saw, and owns it. Much better than now where it's like, well, somebody in New York told me to say out or safe. I don't like that. Yeah, you know what? Don't touch the hammer topic. That's I'm trying to let it go. Oh, some 12% triple IPAs. Oh. I don't know what you mean, AJ. I do not understand your reference. You know what? I forgot to load the sound effects some other time. Oh, man, after Scherzer got his 3,000th strikeout the other day, who will be the next pitcher to reach that milestone? I mean, clearly there's a front runner. I'd have to look at the strikeout active leaders right now. But more importantly, I was watching that game while I was at the Coliseum the other day, and I thought he was going to throw the perfect game. I mean, was he 5 outs away when he let up that double to the Padres? And it still is. I mean, it still is weird to see Max Scherzer in a Dodgers uniform. I think the Dodgers might be one of the surprise teams of this year, and not in a good way. I mean, you would think with who they are, what they have up to this point, been rather, for them, got to be disappointing. It's got to be. Let's see what else we got here. Been avoiding all Sharks news because it seems to be all depressing as of late. Well, I don't know that there is. I actually don't know that there is much news surrounding the team right now. If you're talking about the hurdle stuff, I mean, that's just him being asked in an interview, what do you think about your next season? Or what do you think about your next couple years? What about your next contract? I don't know. I mean, and he's pretty honest about, he's been there a while. He's liked it. Maybe it's not the greatest situation today. Could it be moving forward? Who knows? What other suitors he didn't talk about this really, but for me, what other suitors are going to be out there to offer him something else? Or, I'm not going to talk about trades. I almost didn't even say the word. I almost said the T word, but look, he's a highly sought after player, versatile player. You basically, know what you're going to get from him. And I still think you have not seen his best on a regular basis yet. So that's why, of course, other teams might be interested in his services sooner than later. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It sounds like the Sharks would really like to keep him. I mean, they have a spot for him. Literally it's carved out as, one of the top centers on the team. So, to me, I think the team is intent on keeping him. For him, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. But I wouldn't go too far down that road yet. We'll see what young players emerge, make the roster this year. I think that's a factor. I mean, I'm so consumed with baseball right now that I'm loosely paying attention to everything coming together with hockey. And training camp's right around the corner. Media day for us right around the corner. Really get to catch up on a lot of things, but and I'm not diving into the Kane stuff. I've said that before. I'm curious to know the resolution. I'm also hopeful, I'm curious to know the professional resolution for him and the team. What happens? How does this go down? But I'm hopeful, and I'm just leaving this by itself. I'm hopeful that there has been some personal resolution with him too, and everything else in his personal life. That's it. Don't know any more about it. Have no more to say about it. But maybe that's even more important than the professional side. But certainly the professional side it's important to the team and his teammates. Oh, Eastern Europe to be exact. Wow. All right. Well, tell me what country you're in. At some point, I'm going to start keeping a list here of all the countries I've reached from the live stream, which is pretty awesome. How about this one? 1:37 in New York. Oh, man. I guess I'm 12 minutes behind on the chat. So good morning. How's it going? What is this, AJ? 10,000 subs, and I will release behind-the-scenes footage from Late Night Confidential. I don't honestly know that I have any behind-the-scenes footage of the good old days. But just because my probably like iPhone 3 or 4 back then, or maybe it was even the original one. I don't know which one I had in 2010 or 11. Did it take video even? I'm not even sure. I don't have much. There's a couple lost episodes. I have a few. I think one's up on the channel, but I don't know about the rest. Great question, T Swag Diddy. That's a lot going on there. T Swag Diddy. Who needs to step up the most in order for the A's to make the postseason? I know you want me to isolate this to just one person. I think we all know that's impossible. I really like what Montas and Minaya have been doing lately in their last couple starts. I know Irvin and Kaprielian are literally going to empty out the tank every single chance. And I know Paul Blackburn is like giving you the best that he's got, and he really wants to make the most of this opportunity. I'm not looking at the starters. I'm starting there, and certainly that is a critical component of everything down the stretch that sets a tone for the rest of games. but I don't know that they're my main focus. The bats for this team have been interesting. We've seen them like in the last weekend against Toronto, not this last one, but 2 weekends ago, scored 18 runs between Friday and Saturday. Then they got 2 hit on Sunday. And then they got 6 hits in their next game after that. So they went from 18 runs in 2 games to just 8 hits in their following 2. They just need consistent offense. And they don't even need to hit 2 and 3 homers a game. I mean, to open up the last series against the Rangers, Friday night, they scored 10 runs, no homers. Then they hit 3 on Saturday, 2 more on Sunday. I'd love to see Olsen's bat carry him a bit. And I do feel like Marte has been the same the entire time. Can you ask more from him? No, probably not. Harrison's been great. Chapman's going through some nagging injuries right now with the front foot, the ankle, and the shin, taking a couple foul balls there. Your regulars with the bat, you just ask for more consistency. The real thing that it clearly is, a concern is the bullpen. And I think it was something like 8 blown saves now in the last 20 games. I mean, give me 4 more of those wins, just half of those 8 games, and we're talking about Oakland in a very different spot in the standings. And I won't even isolate it to individuals in the bullpen. They have all gone through their struggles. I would say right now, you have 2 guys definitely trending in the right direction. Dalton Jeffries, I'm not saying surprisingly, might be a pleasant surprise that he's here and he's not starting. He's coming out of the bullpen. He's giving you 2 and 3 plus innings at a time. And Andrew Chafin, who, as of today, as of tomorrow, like if the A's are in a save situation tomorrow, he might be it. Probably your guy. There's a couple options, and I know they're trying to get Trevino back into that mix, that fold. He went through those 4 or 5 outings, which were really, really tough. And look, other guys too have struggled. Romo was spectacular. I mean, we talked a lot about how he alone changed the face of the bullpen mid to late season. And Yusmeiro Petit, everyday Petit from the last couple seasons, has struggled more this year than maybe the prior 2 or 3 combined. So, AJ Puck's not even on the team anymore, but clearly that was another struggle point in relief. So I'm sorry I went the long way around in answering this. I think you understand where my concern is at. And it's a weird concern. This group has done an exceptional job before, and they did it for a long time. They've seemed to lose it in the last 3 weeks especially. So the hope is that it's not fatigue related. It's just a rut at a terrible time. But if they can regain any of what they've done most of the year, you take that down the stretch. All right, let's see what else we got here. Truly hope the A's land Howard Terminal. Just can't help but be sad at the fact that ownership has failed the current team. Feel bad for the players. You know what, Chris? It's one of those situations that at this point, this team is trying so hard to get this done, and I hope that's clear. You really have to separate right now on the field versus Howard Terminal stuff. Team versus stadium. There's 2 totally different things going on right now. And let me also say, if you're an A's fan and you feel a little bit on edge, and I feel like some of this stuff bleeds over to each other, like of all the playoff contending teams right now, how many others, well, I guess really, yeah, no, there is one other, Tampa. That's it. That's the only other one who's saying, we need a new stadium. How are we going to get this resolved? So there is one other team, but that's it. Most fan bases are only worried about the here, the now, the playoffs, on the field. Win or lose, that's it. But A's fans right now have all that, and then in the back of their mind, or what should be the front of their mind, is stadium stuff. So let me make that point to you and everybody else here that I understand why we're all a little bit, if we were ball players, we'd be gripping the bat a little bit tight right now. There's a lot going on for this team in the present and this team hopefully way down the road in staying in Oakland. Steel and Steam Productions. Oh, you guys must make train videos. Is that what that is? Man, I should have drank some water. Now I'm starting to feel the scratchy throat coming on here. This happens when I live stream for 45 minutes. It's almost 11. I probably will cut it off a little bit early tonight. So hard to watch the Sharks because I want to see them win, but I feel like they should have blew it up this past offseason. This season's going to be make or break for them. I said, and there is still time for this. I said that I thought the team probably needed two. Did I say two or three? I think I said two. Two wow moves to right the ship. Now, a wow move could mean anything. An acquisition, a departure, a combination of the both. And I guess, in seeing Martin Jones get the buyout, that was probably one wow move. Now you've got a new goalie tandem in Hill and Reimer. There has not been a second wow move yet. Still time for that. Could also happen early in the season too. I don't know. And I may be wrong. Maybe I'm talking about this wow move that never happens. That's fine too, so long as the season starts on the right foot or skate. But I agree with you that there is a certain ultimatum to this season, it feels like. Contractually, they're committed to a lot of different individuals beyond this season, but it certainly does have the feeling like, Bob Bugner's been there for a bit. This group hasn't changed dramatically in the last couple years, so they've had opportunities to get it right. And now they're being complemented with a little bit less of the younger player variety, a couple more veterans in there. I truly hope you're going to see a difference. And I don't know what, to your point, you say make or break. I agree along those lines. I don't know what make or break truly means. And I also think, sometimes the heart and the brain think differently. When you say blow it up, like in looking down the road in the future, well, what does blow it up look like? What makes sense for this team as a organization that wants to succeed, also as a business that wants to, stay relevant, stay in the mix? Because honestly, part of that then translates into what they can spend, salary cap. I know the average fan thinks that, well, just keep throwing money at it and we'll see what happens. You have to think about the back end as much as you think about the front end too. So I would agree though. Your overall point is right there, that this season has a lot of importance to it. And I'll go back to the primary objective. Guys can talk about winning the Stanley Cup. That's fine. I'm not going to take that away from anybody. But I think where they should truly be judged this year is just get back to the playoffs. That is probably the reasonable, attainable objective for 2021 into 22. Yeah. A's shortstop options. Wait, I realize that our shortstop options are going to be stacked later in the future with Nick Allen and Max. Oh, when I saw Max Muncy, I forgot about the A's draft of Max Muncy. And that might be a ways off in the future. I think that, I don't know. I don't know. Allen, obviously, sooner than later, but, you need a shortstop at the major league level that is serviceable every day. I don't know that you want to go through, with the team that you have right now, you probably want a known commodity. And if Nick Allen is a known commodity to the organization, great. They know, they know what they're doing. But I am interested now that, Marcus is no longer with the team. Elvis is on this contract, this prior contract, which is about to expire. I don't know what the future looks like at shortstop for the Oakland A's. At this point, I really don't. But it's such an imperative position. It's also such, I guess imperative and pivotal would be the same thing, but it counts a lot. And it's not to diminish left field, right field, who's your DH, who's catching for you, but shortstop is big in a lot of different ways. No, I don't think so, Wyatt. I don't think the A's, clean house. I mean, you still have your core. You still have a lot of, arbitration players, guys that are under team control. It's a weird phrase, players who are under team control, but that is truly what it's called and what the situation is. So, I wonder next year what their flexibility looks like. Because if everybody's going to make just a little bit more, that's under arbitration, that's under team control, and if the amount you're going to spend is not going to be that much different, well, then you're taking that piece of the pie for everybody else and you're kind of narrowing it and what you can get with the rest of the money. Being near Philly and 1:40 in the morning, you might have insomnia, just like me. Reviewable plays are the worst thing to come to baseball. Look, I'll just say this. You gotta make it very clear to everybody. When there's confusion, fans don't like it. Broadcasters don't like it. Make it so that everybody knows here's what happens, here's how it goes. So much more simple. MLB needs an honesty cam. Like after the game, umpires can go into a little confessional booth and have the GoPro up here and be like, so in the fourth inning on that 2-2 count, I called that slider a ball, but it was actually a strike. I went back and looked at it. I screwed up. Think of the connection then between fans and umpires after that. Now they'll never do that. I'm exaggerating, but imagine if it was, that's like the XFL version of Major League Baseball. Never happened, but it's interesting. I'm with you where the A's stadium situation is more important than the wins and losses. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not saying every season, but think about the long term and the big picture of a stadium and staying in Oakland as opposed to how this year wraps up. Have the team or anybody tried to host a rally a few days leading up to the next important city council or vote? Well, there's not anything specific that's on the table as of right now. Now they had quite honestly, I don't know that there's immediately, I don't know that there's another vote on this. I guess no, I'm trying to, this goes to show you how confusing it is. I'm trying to think of the process from here on out. There are some other things to be decided on. And yes, I guess those do come in votes. And modifying the agreement and getting into something that's binding versus non-binding. So I guess there are some more votes and things to happen. But I don't know if the team is a little bit, this is such a back and forth chess match that I don't know if they want to totally get, or if they feel like that's most imperative, or that the public showing would do them good. Certainly, I think at some point, if it comes down to it, of course. But I think at this point, maybe it's a good sign that nobody's looking for that type of involvement, because usually that stuff, it feels a little bit more desperate if you're saying, hey, hold a rally, because and they've had a few before. I think when they were trying to make the agreement with the port to gain the land, I think they did have a rally right at Jack London Square. In fact, I think I was down there that day. That was maybe 2 years ago now at this point, but more than 2 years ago. But you understand, it's okay if they don't, but I appreciate fans who definitely want to get involved in that. Let me see if there's anything else I can catch up on here. Oh, Christian, you're in the Netherlands. It's 7:50 in the morning. I guess it's now 8:06 in the morning. So, Christian, I say good morning to you. Wow, this is pretty cool. All the way across the pond. Oh, Lithuania, home of Šarūnas Marčiulionis. Warriors great from the definitely early 90s, probably late 80s too. I think he was on the team back then. Thank you so much for saying that. I will keep cranking out Shark stuff. A lot more coming at you. And aviation stuff. I should get into making some more. You know, my days and nights are typically pretty consumed. Lately with baseball season being like every night. So when I have more free nights, I will do that. Andrew, I appreciate that. Followed my stuff since high school sports focus. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm the GOAT. I'm like the garden snake of maybe Bay Area sports broadcasters. But I think, look, that's, sticking with this and being around it, at some point, I'm only going to get so good. I'm always trying to improve, definitely. But I think, creating longevity and trying to create a bond with this area and viewers and people, I think that's what I'm really after. So I appreciate you saying that, Andrew, because that's kind of what it's all about for me right now. And Jay, thank you for the compliment too. Proud of ya. You know what? That should be a word. I'm proud of ya. I'm a good man. Don't let anybody tell me otherwise. Well, a lot of people might disagree with you on that, but no, I definitely appreciate it. Let me see here. The Raiders game in Vegas was packed tonight. Do I think the A's would draw the same if they moved to Las Vegas? I mean, it's a totally different beast, and people have talked about the Golden Knights also. They have typically 41 home dates plus playoffs and exhibition season. So let's say they have, let's call it almost 50. But almost 50 at 18, 19,000. I mean, a baseball stadium in Las Vegas would be 35,000 probably, 35, probably 35, times 81. That's a lot more people on a very frequent basis. Now, I don't know if people who come to Las Vegas are also planning to spend 4 hours at a ball game away from the Strip. I don't know. Can you draw people away from that? I mean, think about when you go to Vegas, what do you do there? Do you even rent a car? Probably not. You fly into McCarran, you take a taxi, an Uber, whatever, over to the Strip, whatever hotel you're at, you throw your bags in there, you check in, you walk around, you get one of those tall, fruity drinks, when you have to drink like this. I don't do that. You do that. You do that. But you don't hop in the car and drive 10 minutes south to go to a baseball game for 4 hours. I don't know. So to me, are you relying on the fan base to entirely be natives of Las Vegas? It's just different. It's different for me, I think, in hockey season. The rink is right off the Strip, and I don't know that the baseball stadium is going to be that way. You can walk right there. And maybe they'll build, they might build a tram or something to the, some form of transit from the immediate, Strip. If it's going to be, I've seen ideas of locations probably near the airport, on the south side of the Strip. But then again, it could be the north side too. But maybe there'll be a tram to move people around. Do I think the A's would draw the same? Let me put it to you this way. The Aviators, their AAA team, they draw quite well. But less games, tiny ballpark of 10,000. So, drawing 10,000 for AAA is great. Does it guarantee that you're going to pull 35, for 30, 40 more games than this year? I don't know. So the answer is, do I think they would draw the same if they moved to Vegas? I wouldn't base it on what you saw tonight for the Raiders either. That place was packed. It's the first time fans can get in there. They better have, and there were vaccine requirements to only complicate the issue. I'm saying of not everybody can just walk right in the door, right? Because they want to keep people safe. So if they filled that place even with some, logistics to it, I'm not surprised. It's the first time fans have been able to go to a Raiders game in Las Vegas. So of course it was sold out. How are we going to be week 10, week 14 if the team is bad? How are we going to be 2 years from now? That's the real thing to talk about. I've said this before, and I'll just close it out like this. As it relates to Howard Terminal, I think if the A's build that ballpark, I can predict that place will sell out for the first 3 to 5 years. I've said 5 before. It all largely, too, depends on how good the team is when they move in, they start playing games there. If they're good, if the team is like they've been at all, pretty much in the last, 5 years, hypothetically, for the most part, if they're a better than 500 team, let's say that, they will sell out for 5 straight years. Easy. No question. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I was hitting the wrong button there. That was so bad. Let me just do a couple more. You know what's crazy? I said I was going to come on here and play video games. I didn't even do that. I said I was going to take phone calls. I didn't even do that. It's already 11, almost 15, so I'll only be on here just a little bit longer, and then I'll be bouncing. A's definitely missed Trevor Rosenthal this year. It's hard to, design your team with a closer in mind, and then it collapses, and then, the guys that you wanted to fill that role did and now can't as much right now. Let's see here. Why don't I get a water bottle by my desk? I should have brought one in here with me. Going to the Giants game tomorrow. It should be epic. Hey, congrats. They made the playoffs. They're in. Now comes the difficult part. They're still going to try and win the West, and they know they're in somehow, some way. I don't think they want to be in a wild card spot. It's possible. It's also possible that in a playoff matchup, it becomes more difficult. But that's possible for everybody. I don't want to take away from what's been a surprising and magical season for them. Vlasic saying if they don't make the playoffs this season, it will explode in San Jose. Certainly sounds ominous. But I think, that's you're taking the phrase and the words that he's using. It will explode in San Jose. A fan would say that too. Why is it shocking if a player says what a fan is thinking? And again, what's our definition of explode the place? Everybody's gone. We'll get there when we get there. But I think we're all kind of feeling that this season for that team is a turning point. It's a tipping point to something. So however you say it might open some eyes differently, but I think we're all kind of thinking the same thing. 34th and Crenshaw. I try to answer every question. Thank you. And I'm so far behind, which is unfortunate here. I'll be on just a little bit longer. Proceeds to ramble for 30 more minutes. That is very true. That is very true. No, I do not think the bullpen right now is ready for the playoffs. No. The bullpen and every facet of the team. A month ago we were talking about this group cannot hit with runners in scoring position. Their bullpen's fine, but it's risky business with the bats. Now that's not a problem, and the bullpen is. So it's not to harp on one group, the whole time here. All right. Oh my goodness, Joe. Thank you for being here, buddy. What, you could just ask me this tomorrow in person when I see you at work. Chances the A's can keep chafing and sign Trevor Rosenthal again. Is it a guarantee that Rosenthal will even be ready for action next year? I don't know. With the recent surgery, the second one he went through, I don't know. I really like Chafin. He might also be a pitcher who has played himself out of staying with the A's. Now, the four that they acquired, Gomes, Chafin, Harrison, Marte. Here's my hope. Can the A's keep one of them? Can the A's retain, is that even wishful thinking? I don't know. I hope not. I hope there is some reality to the fact that they could keep one of them. I'd be pretty stoked to keep one of them. They're rentals. And, that's the other thing about this. Let's say we were on vacation, Joe. You and me. Dude's trip. I don't know where let's say we went to Vegas. Let's just go right there. Let's put some salt in the wound. And let's say we rented a car. Let's say we rented some type of Lambo, like something flashy, right? We're rolling down the strip in that Lambo. You realize this is just for the weekend. Like, we're not taking this thing back to the Bay Area with us. But you get attached to it. You're like, man, I like the way this drives. I like the way this sounds. I like the acceleration. These seats are comfy. But you knew when you rented it, there was a pickup date and a drop-off date. That was the plan when you flew into Vegas. Like, I'm renting that car, the cherry red one. And when you get in there, you're like, oh, I'm keeping this. Yeah, but there's a reason you didn't have one before. But this is different. This is baseball. There's a little bit of a difference to it. So if the A's can keep one of four, I'd be pretty stoked. I'll see you tomorrow, Joe. Joe's great. Joe's a big East Bay sports fan and works on our shows on the technical side, and always love bumping into him in the office. Yeah, he's got the Kenny Powers, Andy. Chafin's got the Kenny Powers to him, and I say that with full respect. Yeah, and that would be a killer outfield for next year, Ruben. Marte and Ramon. It would have been great for the end of this year, too. No doubt about it. All right, you know what? I am actually going to sign off now. I'm sorry I started late. I'm sorry I didn't even play video games. What a failure. Like, I literally advertised something and then didn't even do it. So I'm going to have to change the title of this video now. What a dummy. So I apologize for that. I'm going to leave you with a little dance party here. Do you want me to cut back and forth for a while? That was a nice shot of Tahoe, by the way. Look at that. You want some narration over this? Downtown San Francisco. I think these shots were fairly recent. I'm looking at some of the buildings. You won't see any newer ones over on that side. But like the Soma area, there's definitely some new construction. Yeah, I just got all these new shots. I had these going, by the way, at the beginning of the live stream, so maybe I'll mess with this for a little bit longer. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool shots here, a bunch of cool transitions. See if I can put that up there. There you go. Golden Gate Bridge. I also can't tell if this is a helicopter with a gyro or if this is straight drone. Because do drones have like really high quality cameras on them? Because I can tell that the optics on this camera are pretty good. Plus, if that's a drone, that thing is way out over the water. Like, if that thing runs out of battery, you are definitely losing that drone. There's a look at Oakland. We're kind of flying over 24. It looks like that's Emeryville off in the distance out there, those couple buildings. And is that San Pablo Ave right there we're flying right over? Believe so. Golden Gate Bridge. Look at that shot right there. The Marin Headlands. Should definitely go up there and get some night photography done if you're into the hobby at all. And bring a tripod up there and bring a jacket. Those are the two things you need up there. You can get some fantastic shots. There we go. That was my home for a good, I don't know, let's see, 5 years, 6 years? And when I moved to San Francisco, that was not there. That was under construction. I remember driving back across the bridge for the first time, the new Eastern Span. I was picking up my, well, I think she was my fiance then, or maybe even girlfriend just then, but current wife. Picking her up from the airport, and as soon as I drove across Treasure Island, I realized that I'm going across the new bridge now. So after seeing it for years, driving over it was pretty cool. I still think about that every time I drive in, like I will again tomorrow. Golden Gate, beautiful. Look at North Beach right there. Kind of on the right side of your screen. Why am I narrating this? I want to just look at all these shots. These are so cool. Now I guess that could be a drone right there. That's pretty high up. It could be somebody controlling it from the Marin Headlands there. Oh, how about the cruise ship? Pulling into San Francisco. I wonder when the next time we'll see that'll be. There's Coit Tower looming high in the distance. Now that's way high up there. How do you like the music, by the way? Ooh, that's a tight shot right there. A couple comments say that these are all drones and that helicopter shots are only for the movies nowadays. Like, look at that, though. You telling me a drone got that shot right there? I gotta get a drone. That is pretty sick right there on Coit Tower. Oh, look at the redwoods. If I'm correct, we're getting to near the end of this loop right here. That's San Jose right there. Tully Road, Capitol Expressway. Is that 101 right there? Anyway, yeah, these are some new scenic shots I have access to and that I'll use in future broadcasts, live streams, all that stuff. So, you know what? I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Be safe. I will talk to you soon.